Hello, my name is Bailey Smith, and today we are going to be talking about book-to-screen differences. Have you ever read a book, and soon after you read it, it was going to be made into a movie? Have you ever been disappointed after you watched the movie because many things were left out from the book? If so, you're not alone. Many audiences are saddened by these big differences. Sometimes the differences are very small though. Reasons for these differences include budgeting, time allotted, difficulty acquiring specific actors and actresses, theatrics in movies, and individual interpretations. Students often consult books as well as movies to further their knowledge on a topic. Adults also do this to understand novels better. As a bookworm myself, I often notice that things that I considered important in a book have been left out in the movie. But a lot of times, it's okay. So it's sad, but some of these things are unimportant or minor in relation to the main plot, and the movie contains intact. Lots of these differences can benefit a film and lead to creativity on the producer's part. Today, we're going to talk about reasons for these differences, times where this was advantageous, and times where it was not. To start, I would like to explain the reasons for these differences to help you better understand why things in our beloved books often come out different than we expected on screen. Many reasons contribute to this: budgeting, time, actor difficulty, theatrical effect, and individual interpretation all contribute to this. Budgets can be big or small scale depending on two things: a producer and the level of the book. Say you were doing a classic book such as Gone with the Wind, and you had a very high up actor who's known for their Oscar nominations. This book, being turned into a movie, would most likely have a very big budget. Time is also of the essence. Efficiency is very important when relation to the movie. Lots of times people don't want to sit in a movie theater for a long time. So some details that could have been important to a book are most likely left out in the movie, unless the producers want to make it into two movies. Take Mockingjay of the Hunger Games trilogy, for example. Mockingjay was divided into part 1 and part 2 because these details were needed. Character appearance is also crucial. A lot of the times it's stated in a book, and actors who are pretty skillful with their acting often don't match these characteristics. Theatrical effect is also important. In slow parts of a book, it's okay. You can just put a book down and come back to it. However, in a movie, oftentimes you want action the entire time. We as humans have the ability to picture scenes from words. Our interpretations of these scenes can often be different. The things that make us different and the world more exciting are often the very things that contribute to our grumbling that the movie was way different from the book. Let's take a look at times where these differences were not advantageous in the eyes of the audience. Directors change different things in a movie, but it can still be a success. Most of the time, it's a success, but sometimes it can end up flopping and failing. Take the Percy Jackson and the Olympians franchise, for example. The books were a huge success, with children as well as adults, for their playful take on Greek mythology. However, if we reference the movies, it's not a huge success. Let's take the first book, for example, The Lightning Thief. The movie was not a huge success, mainly due to the age of the characters. The characters were around twice the age of the characters in the book. This closed the movies off to their target audience of children, and almost gained itself a PG-13 rating. Now we move on to the second book, The Sea of Monsters. The movie was completely different from the book, and ended up wrapping up the 5-book series at the end of the second film. How did they do this? Looking at what happened with these movies, it's obvious that sometimes book-to-screen differences can turn off an audience. However, in some cases, a film or film franchise has continued on or even benefited from these differences. Let's take a look at Harry Potter, for example. Harry Potter has many differences because the books are so big. It's obvious you can't contain the whole book into a movie. The same with The Hunger Games. In The Hunger Games, whole characters are missing, but the plot is still intact. This is good due to mostly accurate casting for the characters and the hard work of the directors and producers. The differences are not detrimental, but even beneficial. In Harry Potter, Emma Watson was deemed too pretty to play the character of Hermione Granger by J.K. Rowling. However, this can be considered a benefit. Because of Watson's beauty, lots of people wanted to watch her role in the movie. So this was a benefit. In The Hunger Games, we have a similar characteristic like this. It's specifically stated in the books that Katniss Everdeen is slender and small in stature. She's smaller than the rest of the tributes. This leads to her being able to climb trees very well. However, in the movies, Jennifer Lawrence is normal size and her height is the same as the other tributes. But this did not take away from the movie. It even added to believability that Katniss could win the games and that she was equal to her fellow tributes. She was equal to her career tributes, which were pretty much the enemies. Also in The Hunger Games, it added to theatrical effect because of Cato's speech. Now, in the book, Cato is not a very important character, but in the movie, they added dramatic flair with the addition of his death speech. The same thing can be said for Harry Potter. Different things have been left out, such as Spew, which is Hermione's club, because they did not want to hire actors for the house elves, which in turn was kind of beneficial. In Harry Potter, the backstory of the Marauders map is also left out. But the characters have already been cast in the movie, so this was probably due to time. This did not affect the plot, however, probably disheartened the book readers. To conclude my speech, it is important to realize that not all changes in the transfer of content from a book to a movie are good, but not all of them are bad in that same respect. Today we have noted and discussed many reasons that contribute to differences in book-to-screen transfers. We discussed how acquiring the perfect actor or actress for a character can be close to impossible. The film's quality can depend on its budget, and individuals' interpretation of the book can ruin their view of the movie, and how extra theatrics are also often needed in a movie to make the slower parts more bearable. Now that you are knowledgeable about some of the reasons why movies are often so different from their books, you should be able to spot these differences in the next popular book made into a movie. The next time you are disappointed in the way your favorite title turned out, be sure to remember that there are many differences and reasons that contribute to these differences. Thank you for listening.